The morning light filtered through the curtains of Martha's modest suburban home as she sat at her kitchen table, her glasses perched on her nose and her checkbook open. A retired widow, she prided herself on keeping her finances in impeccable order. The pension she'd carefully saved over decades was her lifeline, a safeguard ensuring she could live independently and leave a legacy for her grandchildren. Today was like any other, until it wasn't. As Martha opened her online banking app to pay her utility bill, her heart stopped. The balance, which should have been a comfortable 6 figures, now showed a glaring 0. Her hands shook as she refreshed the page, hoping it was a glitch. It wasn't. No, this can't be right, she whispered, panic creeping into her voice. She dialed the bank's helpline, waiting on hold for what felt like hours, her chest tightening with every passing second. When she finally reached a representative, their words sent her world crashing down. Mrs. Henderson, your account was drained in a series of transfers over the last 3 days. It appears the funds were moved to international accounts. How could this happen? I didn't authorize any transfers, Martha stammered, tears brimming in her eyes. The representative's tone softened, but the news didn't. The transactions were made using your credentials, including your security questions. We suspect your information was compromised. I'm so sorry, but recovering these funds may not be possible. Martha hung up, her mind spinning. How could this happen? Who would do this to her? She had always been cautious, never clicking suspicious links, keeping her passwords secure. The shock quickly turned to anger and fear as she realized the implications. Her entire safety net, her life's work, was gone. Desperate for answers, Martha combed through her emails, bank statements, and recent phone calls, searching for any sign of how the scammer had accessed her information. Then she noticed something chilling, a recent email from her bank confirming changes to her account. She hadn't requested these changes, but someone had, someone who knew her well enough to answer the security questions. As she pieced together the timeline, another detail gnawed at her. The security question about her first pet, a detail only her closest family members would know. Could someone she trusted have done this? Unable to let the thought go, Martha decided to confide in her daughter, Linda. It's gone, Linda, she said, her voice cracking. Every cent of my pension. They knew things only family would know. I don't want to believe it, but... Linda placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Mom, don't think like that. No one in this family would do that to you. But her face betrayed a flicker of doubt. Linda's younger brother, Dave, had been estranged from the family for years. His history of debt, addiction, and shady dealings cast a long shadow. Have you heard from Dave recently? Martha asked hesitantly. Linda stiffened. Number. And you shouldn't even think about him right now. Let the police handle this. But Martha couldn't let it go. She hadn't seen Dave in over 5 years, and the idea that her own son could be involved in such a betrayal tore at her. Yet, as much as she wanted to dismiss the suspicion, a seed of doubt had been planted. Later that night, alone in her quiet home, Martha's phone buzzed with an email notification. It was from an unfamiliar address, but the subject line sent a chill down her spine. I'm sorry, Mom. Trembling, she clicked the message open. The words stared back at her. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I just needed some help. Please don't hate me. Martha dropped the phone, her heart racing. She had her answer. The scammer wasn't a faceless stranger. It was Dave, her own son. The weight of the revelation left her breathless. What should she do? Confront him? Call the police? Or try to reason with him, hoping she could salvage her finances and what remained of her family? The phone buzzed again, this time with a knock at the door. Startled, Martha peered through the window to see a familiar figure standing on her porch. It was Dave. Ends with the door creaking open as Martha hesitates, her hand trembling on the doorknob. Martha's heart pounded as she opened the door to face Dave. He stood there, disheveled and nervous, clutching a backpack that looked far too full. The son she once knew, charming and full of potential, was now a shadow of himself, his gaunt face and darting eyes betraying years of hardship and bad decisions. Mom, I can explain, he began, his voice barely above a whisper. Explain! Martha snapped, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and heartbreak. You stole everything from me, Dave. My pension, my security, my future. How could you do this? Your own mother. Dave stepped inside, uninvited, shutting the door behind him. I didn't mean for it to go this far, he stammered. I was desperate. They were going to kill me. Martha froze. Who? Who was going to kill you? Dave paced the room, his words spilling out in a torrent. I owed money, Mom, a lot of it, to the wrong people. They threatened me, said they'd come after me, after you, if I didn't pay. I thought I could just borrow enough from you to cover it. I was going to pay you back, I swear. Borrow? Martha's voice cracked with disbelief. You drained everything I had, every penny. Do you have any idea what you've done to me, to our family? Tears welled in Dave's eyes, but Martha wasn't moved. He had crossed a line that couldn't easily be forgiven. Where's the money now, Dave? Tell me the truth. It's gone, he admitted, sinking into a chair. I paid them off, but it wasn't enough. They want more. I came here because I don't know what to do. Martha stared at him, her hands trembling with rage. "You came here to ask for help? After you've ruined my life? You've already taken everything from me, Dave. What more could you possibly want?" For a fleeting moment, Dave's vulnerability stirred something maternal in Martha. He was still her son, the little boy she'd once tucked into bed, the teenager she'd cheered for at basketball games. Could she really turn her back on him? "What if we go to the police?" she suggested, her voice softening. "Maybe they can help. Maybe we can fix this." "No!" Dave shouted, his desperation snapping like a live wire. "You don't understand. If I go to the police, they'll kill me. And if you go, they'll come after you too." The room grew heavy with silence. Martha's initial fury gave way to a sinking realization. There was no easy way out. Dave's choices had ensnared them both in a web of danger. Before Martha could respond, there was a loud banging at the front door. Both she and Dave froze, their eyes locking in shared panic. "They're here," Dave whispered, his face draining of color. Martha's stomach twisted as the banging grew louder. "Who?" she hissed. "Who's at the door, Dave?" "The people I owe," he replied, his voice trembling. "Mom, you have to hide. Now." "Hide!" she shot back, her voice low but fierce. "This is my house, Dave. I'm not running from some thugs you brought to my doorstep." Dave grabbed her arm, his grip firm. "Mom, please, you don't know what they're capable of." The banging turned to shouting. "We know you're in there, Dave. Open up, or we're coming in." Martha's heart raced as she stared at her son, a million thoughts crashing through her mind. How had it come to this? How had the boy she raised become the man who put her life in danger? "Fine," Martha said through gritted teeth. "Let them in, but this ends now." "Mom, no!" Dave pleaded, but Martha was already moving toward the door, her hand steady despite the chaos in her chest. As she turned the knob, she braced herself for whatever lay on the other side. 3 men stood on her porch, their faces hard and unforgiving. The leader, a tall man with a scar running down his cheek, stepped forward. "Where's the money, Dave?" he growled, his eyes briefly flicking to Martha. "And who's this?" "I'm his mother," Martha said, her voice steel. "And there is no money. He's taken everything I had." The man smirked, his gaze icy. "Then I guess you've got nothing left to lose, do you?" Martha didn't flinch. "Take what you want, but know this. You'll never get another cent from me or him. You've already destroyed enough." For a moment, the man seemed to consider her words. Then, with a chilling smile, he said, "We'll see about that." The act ends with the men stepping inside, their intentions unclear, as Martha and Dave brace for the storm that's about to hit. The men barged into the living room, their presence suffocating. The leader, whom Dave had called Tony, scanned the modest home with a sneer. "Nice place," he said mockingly. "Would be a shame if something happened to it." Martha stood firm, her heart pounding, but her face a mask of defiance. "You've already taken everything," she said. "What more could you possibly want?" Tony chuckled, a low, menacing sound. "Oh, Mrs. Hayes, you misunderstand. Your son still owes us, and now, so do you." "You're not getting another penny from me," Martha shot back, her voice trembling with restrained fury. "I'm a retired teacher. I don't have anything left to give." Tony's smile faded, replaced by a cold, calculating glare. "We'll see about that." He gestured to one of his men, who began rifling through drawers and cabinets, tossing items onto the floor. Dave watched helplessly, his face a mix of shame and terror. "Stop it!" Martha shouted, stepping forward. "This is my home. You can't just come in here and destroy it." Tony stepped closer to her, his tone quiet but deadly. "You're protecting a thief, Mrs. Hayes. He stole from us. Now we take what's ours." Martha's composure cracked. Tears welled in her eyes as she turned to Dave. Tell them the truth. This is your mess, and you need to fix it." "I can't," Dave choked out. "They'll kill me." "They'll kill us both," Martha screamed, her voice breaking. "You've dragged me into your nightmare, and now you're too much of a coward to face it." Her words stung, and Dave visibly recoiled. For the first time, he saw the depth of what he had done, not just the financial ruin, but the emotional toll he had inflicted on the only person who still cared for him. Tony, bored with the drama, waved a hand. "Enough, time's up. Either you pay or we make an example out of you." One of the men grabbed Dave, dragging him toward the door. "Wait," Martha cried, her voice raw with panic. "Please, don't hurt him." Tony turned back, his expression cold. "Then pay us. Sell the house. Do whatever you need to do. You have 1 week." "I can't sell the house," Martha said, her voice trembling. "It's all I have left." "Then maybe he's not worth saving," Tony said, nodding toward Dave. "You decide, Mrs. Hayes." They shoved Dave back toward her, leaving the room in tense silence. Tony's final words hung in the air like a death sentence. 1 week. No excuses. As the door slammed shut, Martha collapsed onto the couch, her hands trembling. Dave knelt beside her, his voice desperate. "Mom, I'll fix this. I'll figure something out." "How, Dave?" she snapped, her eyes blazing. "You've destroyed everything. My savings, my future, my faith in you. What's left?" Dave had no answer. He sat silently as the weight of his actions pressed down on both of them. Over the next few days, Martha tried to think of solutions, but there were none. The house was too old to sell quickly, and even if she could, the money wouldn't cover Dave's debts. She reached out to friends, but most had their own struggles. Every call ended with an apology and a dial tone. On the 6th day, Martha woke to find Dave gone. His room was empty, save for a hastily scrawled note on the kitchen table. "I'm sorry, I'll fix this my way. I love you." Panic set in. She called his phone, but it went straight to voicemail. She drove around the neighborhood, calling his name, but there was no sign of him. That night, the police knocked on her door. The officer's face was grim as he handed her a small bag containing Dave's belongings. "We found him in a motel on the edge of town," he said gently. "Overdose." Martha's world shattered. The grief was suffocating, but it was mixed with a bitter cocktail of anger and guilt. She had lost everything: her savings, her home, and now her son. Days later, the bank foreclosed on her house. The men who had threatened her never returned, their debt conveniently forgotten now that Dave was gone. But the damage was done. Martha moved into a small apartment, surviving on the kindness of distant relatives and a meager monthly stipend. Every morning, she stared at the worn photo of Dave as a child on her dresser, his gap-toothed smile a cruel reminder of the boy she had loved and the man he had become. She often wondered where it all went wrong and whether she could have done anything differently. The story ends with Martha sitting alone at her kitchen table, the weight of her loss etched into her face. The camera pans out, revealing the barren apartment, a stark contrast to the life she once had. Sometimes there are no second chances.